All right, this school is now apologizing after a racial slur was printed in the newsletter. In a newsletter, obviously coming from the school. Uh, we'll share it. Let's share it and talk about it. I don't these things will continue to happen, and nobody will ever be held accountable, and we'll just have to figure out how to live with it. But we'll talk about it after. Let's share the story. All right, y'all. Let me know what y'all think. It's Ricky Rich with Black Primacy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored, and thank you for sticking around for our second half hour. A Montessori school is apologizing for a newsletter that went out to parents that ended in a paragraph by saying the N-word and bitch. The question is, how did this get into the newsletter, and what are parents thinking? That Cypress area school sent us a statement that we will be sharing here on The Factor Uncensored tonight. This newsletter had many parents fuming and demanding answers. One parent is here with us tonight on The Factor Uncensored in this exclusive, Janet Dove. Glad to have you here, Janet. First of all, when you read that newsletter, what were your thoughts?
I was shocked. I was really shocked. I was appalled. At all places to see this type of wording, I didn't think it would be my daughter's Montessori school. So also very confused in how it got there.
Okay, and which Montessori school does your daughter attend?
Lisi Montessori in Cypress, Texas.
And in Cypress, Texas. And so you guys demanded answers from
Absolutely.
the administration there.
Absolutely.
Did you get an answer or response that was suitable for you?
No, the responses that we received were insufficient, in my opinion. They were unable to tell us how it got in the newsletter. From my understanding, there are several employees who have access to the document, and typically the newsletter goes through several rounds of edits before it's sent out. However, the director was unable to determine how someone had access to the document to input these words in there and send it out. They ran an investigation that came back inconclusive, and that's just unacceptable to me.
And when you read that newsletter, and I had a chance to see it in its context, it seems out of place. It seems like somebody just added those two words, and forgive me, it said nigger bitch. And it seems like it was out of place, and like someone, do you think someone did?
Just wanted to pause it there. Have fun reading with your child. It's one of the best gifts they will ever receive. Sometimes just spending that quality academic time with your child one-on-one in the comfort of your home can be equal to, if not greater than, the academic authorization of a real. So, yeah, I mean, I get what he's saying. It doesn't even fit. They just went in there, and I'm trying to. Oh, okay. I think it was going to read, if not greater than the academic authorization of a real classroom, maybe. Yeah. Or a real teacher, real instructor, something. Yeah, so they just went in there and yep. So let's continue.
This as a joke, an individual who just wanted to be funny, or do you think it was with malice?
I'm really unclear on what the intention behind it. Either way, it's an assault to those who have to read it. It's assault to Black parents who are at the school and are having to unpack this and process and how to move forward with their children. The fact that the school is unable to identify the employee in which has produced this document and circulated it is very concerning. And it seems like the idea is for us to kind of just amicably move on and continue to send our children to the school, knowing that there's an employee who has these thoughts, who had access to this document, who is thinking like this. It's just, it's it's just unacceptable.
And do you think there should be a process in place, steps in place, before this newsletter goes out, that someone in charge should be reading it, proofreading it, to make sure there's nothing in there that would be offensive to parents?
From my understanding, that is what typically takes place. Now, for whatever reason that this newsletter was sent out in a different format than the former newsletters have been sent out, to me, that kind of leads to possible intention, and having it sent out in February, Black History Month, you know, it's just inappropriate and very concerning.
So now, what do you want from the administration of the school, and will your child stay in that school?
We have asked the administration to do an investigation to identify the individual who put this type of language within the newsletter and to have them removed. We don't want someone working at our child's school having access to this, our child who is thinking like this, even if it's a joke, that thinks this is a good joke to make. That's not appropriate. And because the director of the school said that they're unable to identify this person, unfortunately, we do have to remove our child because I can't keep them there in good faith.
All right. And so we had a chance to speak with the school district today, at least our producer, Malia Carruthers, and we asked them for a response, and here it is. We are deeply saddened and disheartened by the recent newsletter that was sent out containing inappropriate verbiage, as our school is built on the values of diversity, inclusivity, and respect for all. This language does not reflect who we are as a community. Immediately upon awareness of this disrespectful phrase being distributed, a sincere acknowledgement and apology letter was sent to all recipients. At this time, we do not know how or why this occurred, but we are taking this matter very seriously. It is deeply upsetting to think that someone would seek to undermine the principles for which our school stands. We are beyond sincerely apologetic for any harm or discomfort this may have caused our students, families, and staff. Our commitment to fostering a safe, welcoming, and inclusive environment remains unwavering.
Crazy story, huh? It's interesting. I can't see how they would find the person. I mean, if they have as many levels as they say they do, which clearly the people responsible for proofreading weren't proofreading, right? That's I mean, I think that's pretty apparent. One thing I didn't understand, but I do now after hearing this parent talk, was the need to remove her child from the school. Because at first I was thinking like, yeah, it's bad, but like in my personal, like if it were me, not me with a child, just me in general, like I would not want something like that to disrupt my life, because then I'll feel like they're the person that did that. I'm giving them what they want. Like they want to scare me off. They want me out of their space. And so doing so would make me feel like I'm giving in to their demands. Right? So that was my first thought, was like, nah, we're gonna stay here because we're gonna show them that we belong, right? And that this type of behavior is unwavering. However, kind of listening to what she was saying, that would be difficult for me with my child in the equation. It would depend on other factors, but that would still, I think that would be difficult for me, and I definitely understand it more with pulling the kid out, because you just don't want that could be the first step before they do something that's actually physically harmful to the kids, right? And so if you got somebody in there who, I mean, if we just took it as a joke and it's actually somebody who is giving off warning signals and trying to uh, scare people off, and then people don't get scared off, and so then they move to the next measure. Yeah, that could be problematic. So I could definitely understand why parents are saying, you know what, we're just going to remove our child from this institution since you guys couldn't figure out who did it. Rather be safe than sorry. I think I completely understand that. I hope I'm never in that situation because that's a tough decision to make because, like I said, you're on one, it's safety first, but on the other, as you know, as African Americans who have to put up with so much, it's I think it's part of our nature to want to stand our ground and not be forced out of any particular space, right? So we're just it's just a difficult situation. I mean, you might have schools nearby, but what if that's not? What if now your whole, the next few years until the person moves into another um, grade level, into another school, and so now you're like, you got to drive out of your way to drop your child off, and things are just much more complicated now. It's just, I couldn't imagine. I hope to never experience anything like that. Just to get to the next school level, and then something else weird like this happens, right? And then what? It's like, I don't know. It's a tough one. I think it would go either or for me. I'd be on really high alert. And I would definitely, like I said, after listening to this lady, I would definitely consider taking my child out. But my first thought wasn't to take the child out. It's to, educate the child, if the child even knows what happened, right? But educate them on like this is the world we live in. Like, people are hateful and people say things, but you just brush it off and you move on, right? And you continue on and don't let it phase you, right? But there is just that thought that danger could be lurking, but we hope not, right? So, interesting story. Hate to see it, but not surprised to see it in 2025, right? With how things have already gone the first couple of months in the year. But y'all let me know what y'all think. All right, it's Ricky Rich of Black Primacy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.